Hello, this is Dulce and Canella. And so today we want to send some love to Europe and share how I stay cool without air conditioning. So, Europe is experiencing crazy high temperatures right now, and many people over there are just not used to it. And I understand because I've been to Europe. I've been to London and parts of France, Spain, and a few other countries. And I understand, like, France and London, they were really cold, like 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, when it was like 98 degrees where I came from. So, yeah, I went from 98 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It was really chilly and damp. But so I can understand that you guys are probably miserable and very uncomfortable, and I really feel for you. And so, like I said, here we have some of the hottest summers and the coldest winters, and I actually grew up without the use of air conditioning. My dad was really just too cheap to get it, but but we survived and we were fine. I mean, there were some days we were pretty uncomfortable, but we were kids and we got through it. So, even now, I only have one air conditioner and I keep my place at about 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which to me is comfortable. So I'm going to give you a few tips on keeping cool in this extreme heat. So most of this is common sense, but sometimes when you're going through something, you may just not think of it. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you today. So, my first tip is to stay hydrated. It's so important. Even in normal days, normal times, it's important that your body is hydrated because it functions at a higher level when your water level is correct. So, when you're in hot weather and you're losing liquid, through sweat, then, it's important to replenish that by drinking liquids. So mostly I drink water because we have some really good water here. It has a lot of minerals and it tastes great. And so most of the time I just drink tap water. Um, but sometimes I like the seltzer water, or what I call sparkly water. And I like to add like frozen fruit to my water, sometimes the flat water or the sparkly water. Just add some frozen fruit, a sprig of mint. I grow my own mint and it tastes so good and it's so refreshing. And because sometimes you can get tired of drinking flat water, so it kind of mixes it up. You can also add a little sports drink to it, but not too much, but a little bit is good to help replace those electrolytes. And so you don't want to overdo it with water because then it can flush out the salts and other minerals in your body. So you don't want to overdo it, so you want to do it just right. All right. So, usually here they recommend we do 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And so in a hot summer, you may want to do a couple extras depending on your health needs. All right. So personally, what I do is I just follow what does my body want, after I make sure I drink a few cups of water in a day. If I feel thirsty still, then I'll drink a little more water. All right, so the second tip is to take a cold shower. And I don't know if I ever do a cold shower, but I might do like a lukewarm shower. And it's just so refreshing if you're really hot and sweaty, and it just kind of cools your body temperature down. All right. And it just helps your body to regulate so it doesn't use more energy to do that. All right, so another tip is to use cold wash rags on your neck and wrist. So that would be like your pulse points, and that kind of helps to cool down your blood. So it helps to cool that core temperature down. All right. And also you want to stay ahead of the heat. And that's not just with your body, keeping your body as cool as possible, but also with your home. So if you know it's going to be hot the next day, you may want to start cooling your house down with, if you have an air conditioner, before it gets too hot, because I'll run the air conditioner at night at a, like about 75 degrees to keep it kind of cool, and it gets the humidity out of the house, and maybe I'll go even further down to 70, so the house starts out cool and then it doesn't get too high up by the time, afternoon comes. It stays at a comfortable level. That way the heat doesn't also get absorbed into the walls, because once your house gets hot, it's hard to cool it down. All right, number 5 is use fans to keep the air circulating. So when the air circulates, it just feels more refreshing and just kind of helps with your body's ability to cool itself down. All right. Also, you want to keep the curtains and blinds closed so you're keeping the sun's rays out, because that will raise the temperature of a room. All right. Another tip I found actually online, and I'm going to have a link down here. It was from CNN, some of these tips. Some of them are my original tips as well. But they suggest sleeping in the basement, And then one of my suggestions that goes along with that, instead of everyone sleeping in their own room, if you have like extreme heat and you're trying to keep things cool, then everybody in the same room, and use that air conditioning there to help everyone stay cool. Because the thing about an air conditioner, it's only able to cool down so many square feet. And if you try to cool down your house with one small air conditioner, it's not going to work. It's going to just run that air conditioner. Yeah, and there have been, like in the summer, like I said, we were used to heat, so we were able to just sleep in our own rooms. However, in the winter, when the worst of winter hit, as a child, we would all sleep in this one area, like the central area of the house. Like we had a hallway, and we would line a couple of mattresses, twin size mattresses, along one side of the hallway, and then the bedroom. And there was one small bedroom, and we'd leave that door open, close all the other doors to the house except for the kitchen, bath, the hallway, and that one small bedroom. And so that was how we kept warm in the winter. But that same concept can be used when it's hot outside too. Everyone stay in a central location that's cooled off. Or, one thing they can do is everyone can stay in their own rooms, but then if they feel extremely hot, go into that cool room before they, so they can cool down. And so just, if you feel yourself getting warm, make sure you try to stay cool. Like I said, stay ahead of that heat. Another tip is to turn off extra lights. Lights can add to the heat of the house, so keep them off. Only use the bare minimum that you need. And also using energy efficient light bulbs that don't release a lot of heat can be helpful as well. Number 10 is to eat cold foods and avoid high calorie foods. All right, so in the summer, we typically eat foods that require little or no cooking. So going along with that is number 11, which is cook outdoors if possible, and plan to cook enough food for several meals. So try to cook at night if you must cook in the house, but it's best to avoid cooking in the house if possible. But again, if you do, cook enough for several meals, not just one. So in the summer, we will typically eat foods that require little or no cooking, such as sandwiches, salads, and soups. I like to cook up a couple pounds of chicken if I do have to cook, and either it'll be on the grill. Like when we had no air conditioning, we would cook like enough meat for about 4 days on the grill, and then we would eat that, during the week making sandwiches out of it, like a chicken salad sandwich, or you have a salad and put some chunks of chicken in it, woo woo woo. So you guys know how it's done, so that way you avoid heating the house up while cooking. I also suggest number 12, avoid using the clothes dryer or run it at night. If there's nowhere you can hang your clothes to dry, then do it at night when it's really cool in the house. Or go to the laundromat, and that way you don't heat your house up. Number 13, do errands in the early morning or after the sun goes down. So this is something, especially like when I was in, where was I? Phoenix, Arizona. Now that was one of the hottest places. I think the second hottest place I stayed was Madrid. We'll talk about Madrid later. But in Phoenix, it was so hot and there's very little shade. It's a desert. Phoenix is a desert. And so what my friends and I would do is we would go out in the morning and do things, and then around 10 o'clock when it started getting hotter, because it was getting up to like 115 degrees, we would return indoors and do a few things there, and then we'd wait till the sun set, and then, which was around 7 in Phoenix, and then we would go out at night and do things. But when it was the hottest, we tried to stay indoors, 14 is hug the shade. So when I was in Madrid, it was extremely hot. We understand why they have siesta time now, because, between the hours, I think it was 2 and 4, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was like, it seemed like nobody was on the street. And we were coming, like we had left to do something in the morning, and then we returned about 1 or 2 o'clock, and it was so hot. It was like we didn't think we were going to make it back to our hotel. It was like a 6-block walk. And so I started walking under the shade as much as possible. And my friend was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm hugging the shade." And she goes, "Like that's going to make a difference." I said, "Well, it feels like it is to me," and before I knew it, she too was hugging the shade. So yeah, staying out of the direct sun is more helpful. And along with that is my tip number 15, which is dress for the weather, such as a large straw hat, so keep that sun off your head. Wear light, loose clothing, sandals, and typically on a hot summer day, I will wear a sleeveless maxi dress with that's made of very thin material and flip-flops. So like you can see right now, Dulce is wearing like a little dress, so something like that would be good too. But I kind of like the flowy dress because it just feels like the wind like makes things feel cooler. But I won't even wear denim at all. Not even like what Canella is wearing, those denim shorts on an extremely hot day. Whew, no way. All right, so my last tip is it's more of just remembering other people. So remember to do extra wellness checks on your friends and family, especially those who have age-related or special health concerns, because it could save their lives, and in weather like this, minutes count. So yeah, always be aware of your neighbors and your friends and family. All right, so like I said, I will have a link below to CNN, which they have a great article on how to stay cool without air conditioning. So thank you for stopping by and listening to my tips. I hope they are helpful. If you have tips on how to stay cool in the summer, put them in the comments. Let people know. Let's share our knowledge so that we can all get through this as safe as possible. So know that you are in my thoughts, and I hope that you stay as cool as possible. And I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. A kiss.